It should come as no surprise. 10 Boston area colleges and universities are among the top 100 in the country when it comes to having the best social media. After all, we consider ourselves to be pretty tech savvy around here, and the survey by StudentAdvisor.com backs up this belief. Joining us this morning, Editor-in-Chief of StudentAdvisor.com, Dean Savalas. Dean, great to have you back with us this morning.
Pleasure to be here.
Before we break down the schools and the numbers, why should we care about where a school ranks in terms of social media?
Parents are looking to social media to understand the schools as well as students. That's the way that they're communicating with each other. The schools are communicating with students, the schools are communicating with parents, and it's a very different world from the one where we used to get a big book to learn about these schools.
Does it also show a school's willingness to openly communicate, I guess, so you know they're going to be willing to tell you what's going on and pass along information?
Exactly. The transparency about social media makes it what we want to know about. We want to know about these schools and feel comfortable when we send our kids there.
Now, when you came up with this list, what was the criteria? How many schools did we look at nationwide?
We looked at 6,000 schools, and then we examined everybody's Facebook page. And they had to have at least 500 fans on their Facebook page,
right.
And then we matched them up to their Twitter accounts.
Okay.
And then we included their YouTube accounts and any other social media.
There's a lot of work here, and this is not something where you pick names out of a hat. I mean, you really dug into this.
We did. We spent the past 3 months looking at all these elements because it's so extensive and it's constantly changing, social media.
All right, let's look at the Boston schools and how they fared, because there are 10 schools that fared very well, and we'll just break them down in terms of Massachusetts in general. But Harvard is #1 locally and #1 nationally, too, right?
It is. And it shouldn't surprise us because that's the birthplace of Facebook. That's where, Facebook was created. And they even have their own social media group where they have events on campus and work together to create new innovative ways to use social media.
All right, let's look at the rest of the top 5 in the Boston area. Emerson College, #2. Thank you very much. And I love the fact that they're ahead of BC and BU. And Babson checks in at #5, which I thought was surprising, but good for the Babson Beavers over there.
Absolutely. The nice thing about Emerson is that they are consistently looking to new ways to communicate with each other. And some of their videos on YouTube are better than what you'd find on prime time.
You'd expect it because there's the creative element there. And the back end of the top 10 here in the Massachusetts area, you got MIT, Tufts, who has the video applications that we talked about, which is great.
And, I have to tell you that they tweet out their menus from their cafeteria 3 times. There are 3 different cafeterias, and they tweet their menu every day.
Brandeis, Bentley, and LaSalle all finishing in there as well. And obviously, Massachusetts schools on your overall list ranking right up there as well. So is it fair to say that this is kind of an area not only that gets it, that may be leading the charge in this area?
Absolutely. They've been leading the charge. A recent study by UMass Amherst came out, and they looked at how college admissions counselors were engaging with social media, and it was 2 to 1 to the Fortune 500. So they are continually leading the way for how we're using social media to communicate with people.
And if you have a child at a school, or maybe you have a child applying to a school that's lagging behind, how big of a concern should that be?
Well, it's an important one because you want that transparency to see what's going on at that school. So it's worth searching the school's website and reaching out to them directly to find out what they're going to be doing to get more socially savvy.
And they should be checking that, and if not,
absolutely,
they will be soon. And most colleges are using this. Do you find nationwide that there are some holdouts out there, maybe some schools, old tradition, hey, we don't do this type of thing?
Yes, I would even be surprised. BC, which is a great school and has a really good social media department, doesn't have any social media links on their homepage. So even some of the stars are still not, making it hard to find that social media. So when this top 100 is just the creme de la creme of all the schools, but
even within that 100, there's room to improve.
Absolutely, and we're going to be updating it pretty regularly to see how schools change over time.
Well, you guys really did a lot of work on this, and it's very interesting to follow along at StudentAdvisor.com if you want to check it out. And certainly if you're applying to school, something you're going to want to keep an eye on. Dean, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Great to chat with you.